So my girlfriend had this friend when she was in primary school, right? And this girl, she always said the girl was always strange. The girl had two younger siblings, so there were three children from a particular man and a particular woman. The woman was from the community, she was from around, so everybody knew her. The man, however, nobody knew where he came from. They just knew that he moved into the community and started staying in the community. The man was very, very nice. They had been together for about 11 years. The relationship had brought three children, but they were never married. The woman's parents kept on complaining about the fact that she was living with a man that they did not know. In Africa, when they say they do not know, mean he has not done the proper marriage rights and the proper introduction rights or whatever. So they didn't know. However, she loved him, so she was living with him, and they gave birth to three children. This, her classmate, was always so strange. She said she always found something very odd about the girl, something she couldn't really place. She couldn't really place her hands on, but the girl just felt a bit different. Like she was not, she just acted differently to everybody else in the class. So she had very few friends and the rest, and she was strange. So not lots of people hung out with her because she was strange. One day, after some years, the husband and the wife started having problems in the house because the statements and the side talks from the family started getting to the wife, and all of a sudden she was like, she really needs him to pay for her and do the normal African marriage rights. He kept on refusing, he kept on dodging, he kept on coming up with different stories as to why it cannot happen, why he can't get married to her. He kept on telling her he loves her, but he always came up with different excuses. One day she was fed up and said either he comes to marry her or she takes the children and she leaves the house. So after putting much pressure, he said, all right, fine, he'll take her to wherever she wants to go. So he'll take her to see his family and he'll do everything, right? Now, this community is in the southern part of Nigeria. This man is from the eastern part of Nigeria. So they got ready for the trip. She told her family, she told everybody that she's finally going to see her loves, her husband's family, and then they're going to start the whole marriage rites. They packed up their bags and it went over to the eastern part of Nigeria. However, throughout the trip, typically in Nigeria, you are embarking on such a long journey, especially to see people you have not seen for a while. It's usually customary that you get gifts. It must not be very extravagant, right? But it's customary that you get gifts. To see your mom, you could buy maybe a wrapper or whatever. But this guy did not buy anything. In fact, throughout the trip to where he was from, he was particularly quiet. And he just kept on holding on to the children like he was never going to see them again. But what struck the wife mostly was the fact that he was very quiet during the trip. And then he didn't buy anything for the family. Like, he didn't act like he was going to see them at all. He was just quiet and moody throughout the whole trip. Finally, they got to the destination. Then he pointed the house and he said, okay, if you walk down that road and take a left, the first house you see, that's my house. The first house you see, that's my house. She said, so he told her to go forward and said he wanted to buy something from a nearby store. Those were his exact words. You go, I will be with you shortly. Let me just buy something from this nearby store, right? Let me just buy something to give to my family. And she went. So she got there with her entire children, knocked on the door. The old woman came outside, the boy's mother. She came outside and the woman was like, oh yeah, these are your grandchildren. Grandchildren, this is your grandma, this and that. The old woman was confused, like, what do you mean by my grandchildren? She said, yeah, your son. She called the boy's name and said, I am his wife, these are his children. And the woman just kept on looking at her like, really? She said, yes. The woman said, okay, come inside. She said, where is my son? Where is your husband? She said, oh, he's on his way. He just stopped by at that shop to buy something. She said, okay, so he's coming here? She said, yes. Okay, come inside, sit down, let us wait for him to come so that he can introduce you to me properly. She went upstairs. She called her brothers, she called her own children to all come. She said, this woman said she is my son's wife, right? So let's all wait for the son to come. Everybody just kept on staring at the woman like what the fuck are you talking about, right? So she called, so they all sat down for some hours. The woman kept on saying her husband is on his way. He just stopped by there to buy something. And after some time, the old woman took this woman to the backyard and said, the person that you said is responsible for these children, this is where we buried him. He died 12 years ago. The woman couldn't believe it. She actually brought out her phone and started showing her pictures of their lives together. And this was not a time where AI was rampant. So when she saw the pictures, there was no way the grandmother, however, could deny that this did not happen. She saw the videos, saw the pictures, and confirmed that, yeah, her son was actually lived a different life after he died. So it turns out that we're ghosts. We're children of ghosts, and the man was actually a ghost. The grandmother came up with the theory that she knows that her son has always liked children from when he was very young. So it's possible that he died and then decided to come back with the intention of making children. Yeah.